Drivers, start your engines!
It's MRN Motorsports Monday, the place for the latest news and loudest opinions, direct from the guys at the track. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. The stories, views, and opinions expressed on MRN Motorsports Monday are not likely shared by anyone, anywhere. Results may vary, so you should talk to your doctor before watching.
Me. What's up, Doc?
Today's episode is brought to you by Hercules Tire.
Pace car is up.
Here's Woody Kane.
Oh, boy, am I glad to see you guys!
I knew you'd come back, Woody.
And Joey Meyer.
Just a reminder, if you're asking me a question on the radio, just keep talking till I answer it for you, all right?
Welcome to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. I'm Woody Kane. He's Joey Meyer, talking about the racing events of the weekend. All three of the National Touring Series in competition. Kyle Busch wins again, his second victory in a row in the playoffs. 4 Cup drivers eliminated from playoff contention at Dover. But before we get started, this is a Monday show, obviously, and we're consumed now with the thoughts of those who were killed and injured in Las Vegas. Hundreds injured and dozens were killed in that tragic event, and we just wanted to make sure we took a moment before the show to say our thoughts and prayers are with all those who were victims in that incident, that horrific incident out in Las Vegas. And boy, it kind of sometimes makes sports seem small.
As we learned back in 2001 after post 9/11, we use sports as an escape, to escape reality and try to live our life through our heroes and our athletes. We're not looking to ignore the event. We're looking to try to replace some anger and some fear with 30 minutes of Motorsports Monday. So we're going to continue on with our show. Our hearts are very heavy for the families that are dealing with, with the tragedies out there in Vegas. So our condolences to all those, as well as our heartfelt emotions to those guys.
Absolutely. We were out in Vegas, some of us from MRN, for the truck race there, and had left before any of those incidents had happened. But just a huge concert event there, and it seemed like everything was going well. And then Sunday it turned tragic. But boy, our thoughts are really with the victims in that incident. But let's talk a little bit of racing. Kyle Busch, my goodness, does it again. It doesn't seem like all that long ago that people were going, what's wrong with Toyota? What's wrong with Joe Gibbs Racing? And what's wrong with Kyle Busch? It feels a lot like last year when similar questions were directed at Jimmy Johnson and the Chevrolets and Hendrick Motorsports.
You know, what we've seen performance-wise in racing is everything is cyclical, man. The top of the mountain, regardless of what mountain, if you look at Mitchell Mountain, Pilot Mountain, Everest, they're very small at the top. Mm-hmm. You know, the base is very, very wide, and everybody tries to climb to the top of the mountain, but when you get there, it's real easy to fall off. Jimmy Johnson has won 7 championships, but it's been a lot of work to stay up there. We've seen the Toyotas to perform. They started out a little slow. Now they're up there. It's all cyclical. You have to ask, can they keep it going for another 7 races? And that'll be an interesting story to follow, because right now the Toyotas of Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. are clearly at the top. The thing is, we can only have one champion.
Yeah.
So even if it comes down to those two, which one can stay at the top the longest?
And we will certainly find out over the next few weeks. But after Kyle Busch gets the victory, he spoke with our Winston Kelly in Victory Lane.
What made the difference at the end?
Just we kept working on it all day long. We kept making adjustments to it every pit stop, every chance we got. And I think the biggest thing there at the end was just having a little bit fewer, fresher lap tires than Chase did. And I wasn't sure it was going to be enough when I got close. You know, I got within 5 lengths and I stalled out, and I was like, oh, man, I think that was it, but I got back to the top and got enough momentum back rolling. Chase was kind of plugged up with those lap cars in front of him. So great day for us. Great job to the team being able to get in victory lane here in Dover. It's been a long time since we've been in victory lane here, and it's hard to come by wins here because Jimmy takes home all the darn monster trophies, but it's nice to have a 3rd or 4th for my collection. Can't remember.
Next 3 races, the ones that you feel the best about: Charlotte, Kansas, and, of course, Talladega.
We got to win Charlotte. Apparently, I haven't won there before, so I need to go get that win and check that one off the list, and that'll put us into the next round, and we'll go from there.
There you go, Kyle Busch, second straight playoff victory, and all is right in their world right now as they've gotten hot at the right time, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, his biggest problem is trying to figure out whether he has 3 or 4 wins.
Yeah, I think 3 is the actual
number.
Where
do I put all these trophies at? What
right.
have I done with all of them? Well, I got news for you. Jimmy has 11.
That's phenomenal to me. That number just kills me.
He's won more at that racetrack than guys have wins. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in their whole career at any track.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we've got a big show for you on MRN Motorsports Monday. Paul Wolfe will be here. He's the crew chief for Brad Keselowski, and He's in Joey's ear, and Joey's in his ear a lot during race Sundays on the Cup side. We'll also talk more about the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, or the Truck Series rather, as their playoffs continue. And you may have noticed a little bit of a tiff between Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman after the race on Sunday at Dover. We'll talk about all that as well. On track, off track is ahead. It's all coming up on MRN Motorsports Monday. Stay with us, everyone.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day, Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax than a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock, so grab a six-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo! I want that onion to bloom and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice. And I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse. That's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Being there matters, and your United States Navy protects and defends America on the world's oceans. Around the globe, around the clock, Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and, most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America when piracy threatens global commerce, when disaster strikes, or when called upon by the Commander-in-Chief. Your Navy is there. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters, and America's Navy is already there.
One final time for Christopher Bell. High side, then right behind Rhodes, right on the tailgate, midpoint back straightaway. Bell's got the momentum. He's on the rear bumper of Rhodes. Looks inside. Bell not close enough to challenge, but Rhodes slides wide. Here comes Bell off 4.
This one is going to go down to the wire. Here comes Ben Rhodes. Throws the block on Christopher Bell. And at the stripe, your winner is Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes nips Christopher Bell at the line at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for his very first career win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Buddy Long, Dylan Welch, and Dan Hubbard with the call at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as Ben Rhodes gets his first ever victory in the Camping World Truck Series, and it couldn't have come at a better time, Joey. The second playoff race, Christopher Bell wins the first, and it looks like he's just going to run away and hide from everybody, and then Ben Rhodes jumps up and takes the victory, racing Christopher Bell at the end for the win.
He's been oh so close. We've seen that in a couple of series with Chase Elliott. We'll talk about in a second being oh so close. Ben Rhodes clearly had a race won earlier in the season and had a piece of debris go through the radiator to take him out of contention when he was checked out on the field. So kudos to Ben Rhodes getting another round or advancing in that playoff in that second round. This is race 2 of 3. We've, like you said,
in round 1,
we've got Ben Rhodes and Christopher Bell locked in, but everybody behind them, nobody's locked in yet with points. As we saw in the Cup Series, we had a couple of drivers who were able to point their way in after that second race, and that's not the case in the Truck Series.
All right. After the race at Las Vegas, our Jason Toy had a chance to speak with Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes, you're a winner in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and it comes at a crucial moment in the playoffs. How about it?
I never thought it would come. It took long enough. It seemed like every time we were there, something would happen, and our Safe Light 27 Tundra was on point tonight. And, you know, we may not have been the fastest truck, but we pulled it off at the end, and that's all that matters. We're in the round of 6 now, and we're going to Homestead. This team just showed that it deserves to be in the playoffs after it's been so close.
Well, let's go back to that last restart. What was going through your mind on that one? There was a lot of hustle and bustling going on.
I just thought I was going to be pushing the guy in front of me, you know, and I was just trying to do everything I could just to get points and have a good day. But I saw tires started smoking. Those guys started having contact, playing rough. They made the opportunity when took it, and that's all our plan has been ever since we had to fight for points to get into the playoffs. Our plan was capitalize on the opportunity they gave us, and they gave us a big opportunity tonight.
There you go. Ben Rhodes gets the victory, his first in the Camping World Truck Series, and it punches his ticket to round 2 of the playoffs. And as you mentioned, we've been through the first 2 races of round 1. The elimination race, Talladega.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You've been through that on the Cup side.
Yeah, we had to win or get in, or win or not win and go home.
Yeah.
But that's one of those races where you take all those trucks and you throw them in the air, and how they land could be one way, and you take them all again, you throw them back up in the air, and they land another way. That's exactly how Talladega is. We have no idea what to expect when we get there. because the first
and neither do they.
They have no idea. We're gonna try to get lined up with our 2 BAKR trucks and right around the bottom for the first part of that race, and just try to keep ourselves towards the end of the race so we're there. At Daytona, the first race with Austin Cindric, we ran 1 lap and got booted out and wrecked, and that was our day. We have not run a restrictor plate race since Daytona in these trucks. So these guys get all amped up. We see it at Martinsville because that's one of their first races after a long layoff. We go to Talladega. Whew, I get nervous right now.
And are you going to be working with Austin at Talladega?
Yes, sir. We'll be working with Austin from Talladega for the rest of the year now that we have companion races for the rest of the year. Top 4 finish for those guys out of Vegas.
Yeah.
They spun early, had to go to the back, and then worked his way to the front. Both BKR trucks in the top 5 right there in the playoff hunt. But again, one bad thing happens at Talladega, and it knocks you right out.
Absolutely, and that's why they call it a wild card race. So the trucks are off this weekend. When the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series go to Charlotte, they'll be back at Talladega the week after that. All right, let's segue now to On Track, Off Track, where we talk about some things that are going well in the world of motorsports and some things that aren't going quite so well. Let me start off with an on track, because I know yours is of a similar vein. Since we were talking about trucks there, kudos to Goodyear, because they came with a new tire to Las Vegas for the Truck Series, the same one that they had used at Michigan earlier this season. Talked to a lot of drivers and crew chiefs, and they said it's a different stagger, and that raises or lowers the truck based on how the circumference of the wheel is. They all said it felt like they freed the trucks up a little bit more and allowed them to race. We saw a lot of 3-wide, 2-wide action all night long, even 4-wide on some occasions, but a really spectacular truck race, and I think a lot of it was due to that tire.
These tires were made in Ohio, and really the technology that goes into creating a tire that we can take a 3,000-plus pound race car, whether it's a truck, Xfinity, or Cup car, and move around the track really seems like it's simple, because we have 4 of these exact same tires on our car that we drive 80,000 miles on. But we're talking about going with speeds of close to 200 miles an hour and not have this tire fail, which seems really easy, but now we want it to have grip. We want it to try to grab the track as much as possible. And Goodyear really...
And last.
Oh, yeah, by the way, don't blow out while we're doing this.
Yeah.
And if I have newer tires than you, I want me to go faster than you, right? So these are all these things that Goodyear has to put in plan, and they did. They showed up at Las Vegas with a really good tire that allowed these trucks to compete at a high level with high grip, with no failures, and the trucks were fast. Ironically enough, they did the same thing at Dover.
Funny how that works.
Yes.
And that's a tire that we've had the same tire there for several years, and a little change this year.
What we did was we ran our Darlington tire at Dover. It was such a good tire at Darlington. We were looking for a little more wear, a little more grip, a little more rubber put down in the track to make it wide. We saw guys running the very bottom. We saw Kyle Busch making the lead, running up the 80% line off of turns 1 and 2 to get that momentum. Dover had a test for Goodyear, specifically to try to bring a tire that was a little grippier, to grab a little more gription, as we like to say.
I love gription.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that in a while. That's great.
A little gription without failure. And again, they showed up at Vegas with a fantastic tire. They did a test, and we did a test at Dover with Goodyear, and showed up with a really good tire. We saw no issues, and we saw almost the perfect race from a tire standpoint, because we had traction, we didn't have failure, the track took rubber. My newer tires were better than your older tires. Unfortunately, it cost Chase Elliott the race.
Kyle had a little bit fresher tires.
Exactly right. And that's what you want to see. You want to see a better tire able to track down a worse tire with more laps on it without failure. And exactly what we saw from Goodyear at Vegas and at Dover.
All right, and for on track, I think Joey and I are both in agreement here. Instead of nitpicking what may not have been perfect, we're going to just let off track be the tragic events in Las Vegas and leave it at that. But let's segue now to the aftermath of the Cup race at Dover, because there was a little bit of back and forth going on. Jeff Gordon was up on the pit box cheering Chase Elliott on. Ryan Newman was trying to hang on to the lead lap at the end while Chase was leading. Didn't give him a break because he didn't know when a caution was going to come out, and he could be right back in the thick of things. But that led to an incident with he and Jeff Gordon after the race. Check this out.
What's that? What was happening for the legals, man? You don't think I was racing for my own position? I didn't say you were. I said. Just watch what you say, man. I said thanks for the help. No, you said it was a smart help. Like, you took it that way.
So a little bit of post-race kerfuffle there between those two.
What we see is a clash of agendas. We always talk about racing being such a selfish sport. Chase Elliott looking for his first win and an advancement to that second round with a solid win with those stage points. Ryan Newman doesn't care about Chase Elliott's agenda.
Right.
He's trying to make the playoffs based on points. You don't know where you're going to end up to that last caution flies. He could have picked up multiple positions. He's not worried about Chase's agenda.
He's got his own fish to fry.
Exactly right. And what we saw was Ryan Newman expressing his displeasure because Jeff Gordon, who didn't like the fact that Ryan Newman was in Chase Elliott's way. That's just a clash of racing. That's what that's about. There was no, there was one of those things that it's going to happen, and we move on, and there's two champions with, Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon.
Absolutely. All right, and as we get ready to wrap this up here, we had planned to go out with Ben Rhodes, but let's go out with Chase Elliott to this break. We've got Paul Wolfe on the other side, Brad Keselowski's crew chief, but Chase Elliott was the guy in the catbird seat until he got tangled up with that lap traffic. Here's what he had to say.
Chase, how do you put this into words? Coming up basically a mile and a half shy.
Failure. That's how you put it into words.
Chase Elliott, disappointed, no question about it. He's already walking away, and you can hear the dejection in his voice. A second-place finish, that is absolutely no consolation prize for this young driver who thought he had his first career Premier Series win.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
If you or your family love the freedom of swimming any time of year, if you love sharing good times and making great memories, or if you want one of the best total body workouts ever, then it's time to discover the 3 C's of your very own endless pool. The first C is convenience. Imagine swimming year-round in your own private swimming pool, installed indoors or out, just steps away. The second C is comfort. With sculpted spa seats and your own adjustable temperature, you can easily escape the stress of your day. And the third C is cost. Your endless pool is an affordable luxury at a fraction of the cost of a regular pool. And here's a bonus C, choice. Because when you call for your free Endless Pool Idea Kit, you'll receive information on our full line of pools to suit your budget and location.
Call now for free information. 800-283-8089. 800-283-8089.
Off 4, side by side. On the inside, Chase Elliott. On the outside, Kyle Busch. He will pass Chase and head back to turn number 1.
Kyle Busch now will go to the point. Chase Elliott goes to the high side in his tire tracks. It's now Kyle Busch who is looking to steal the victory this afternoon in Dover.
It's a late game rally for Kyle Busch to grab the lead from Chase Elliott. Off turn number 4 across the line, Kyle Busch wins at Dover.
Jeff Striegel, Mike Bagley, and Kurt Becker with the call at Dover as Kyle Busch gets a dramatic almost last lap pass for the victory, and he takes the second race in a row in the playoffs. Round 1 is complete. Joining us now on the guest line, the crew chief for Brad Keselowski and the Miller Lite Ford at Team Penske, Paul Wolfe joins us. Paul, congratulations on a top 10 run and surviving, I guess is the main way to put it, round number 1, because we saw some wacky things happen to some other guys, and I guess that's really the point of round 1, isn't it? Kind of survive and advance like the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we look at the first round every year and feel like it's, for us, our cars have enough speed in them that it's really about, just executing and not making a mistake ultimately, and as long as you do that, you should be able to move into the next round pretty easily. And we had some really strong races. Chicago and New Hampshire were really good for us. We gained a lot of stage points and put us in a good position going to Dover, where we're virtually locked in, and as we looked forward to the race at Dover, we knew we didn't have winning speed in the car, but we were in a position where we could take a little gamble here or there and try to get maybe a stage win, because ultimately that will help us in the next round and as we move forward. So we were able to do that, which was a great accomplishment for us to get that bonus point. And from there it was just trying to make the most of the day. I felt like when we got the balance optimized in the car, I feel like we could run fifth or sixth. And there at the end of the race, like I said, we were in a position where we didn't really have a lot to lose. It was like, let's run long, and if we catch the caution right, it would put us in a better position to maybe steal a win or a really good finish. So didn't work out, but overall we're pleased with how the first round went, and we know what we need to do moving forward into round two.
Paul, we have 7 more races left in our 2017 season, and everybody shows up 1 week at a time, and we never want to look too far ahead. But give us, our listeners, an idea of how far ahead we are actually planned. We've got Charlotte, Talladega, and Kansas as our next 3 rounds. I know you don't want to look past Charlotte, but how far ahead are you actually planning right now?
Well, I think the race team itself, the guys that touch the cars at the racetrack and are working on them at the racetrack, they're kind of, focusing, one race at a time, like you say, or one round at a time, and trying to optimize every weekend, and like I said, not make those mistakes. Here back at Team Penske, the group here at the shop, I guess you would say, is the ones more looking farther ahead, looking at, the final round, and then hopefully the final race at Homestead as car preparation and car builds, are weeks farther ahead than one race at a time. So there's a couple different mindsets depending on where you are in the company, and we, like I said, we need to focus on one race at a time and maximizing each race when we're at the racetrack, and hopefully these guys back at the shop are doing their part, and they're planning ahead and getting the car builds and exactly what we need on them as we move forward.
Chatting with Paul Wolfe, crew chief for Brad Keselowski and the Miller Lite Ford from Team Penske, coming off a top 10 finish at Dover and 4th in the standings as we get ready to go to round 2 this weekend out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Paul, last time at Charlotte, you guys started 7th, finished 9th, a solid run there, but my gosh, Martin Truex Jr. has been very good there. He's been very good almost everywhere, and the Toyotas are getting hot at the right time. But coming into Charlotte now, this is a race where a lot of guys have had some success, including your team over the years. Any real changes we can look forward to there? I mean, there's been talk in the past of putting some PJ1 or VHT and maybe a different tire. What are we looking forward to at Charlotte?
Well, from what I'm aware of, they're going to go ahead and use the PJ1 again. I think they used it more in just the higher lane in the spring race, and from what I know, they're going to do that again. I don't know that we saw anything major or way out of the ordinary with that, but maybe there's a little something there. Charlotte can tend to get to be one groove track at times. I think the day race definitely helps widen things out, and maybe that that PJ1 will come into play a little more with making another lane up top. But there's, like you said, the Toyotas are fast right now, as well as the 42, and even the 24 is seemed to step up with some speed here in the chase. So, but for us as the 2 team, it's about knowing what we're capable of and what we can do, and getting the most out of our car. If you reach too far and try to go for something that's not there, sometimes that'll get you going down the wrong path and ultimately not where we need to be. So even though we don't have the speed we want right now, I think our team is very capable of not making mistakes, executing and gaining as many of those points as we can, as we did in first round. And I think if we do that, we can get through this. And as I look forward to to Talladega, we know that's a race that's probably a little more to our strength right now. And you just gotta go into each weekend and be realistic about what you can accomplish, and go out and do that, and maximize what you've got in your car. And I feel good if we do those things, we'll continue to move forward.
And let me clarify, I'm talking about the All-Star race where you had the good finish. The 600 wasn't quite so good, an accident there, but go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, no, that was a very early night for
Trying to stay positive.
A very early night in the 600. Paul Wolfe's a father of 2 kids. We have Caden just starting school, and Haley was born this year. Caden is now old enough to understand what racing is going on. Is that something you want to try to pursue with him, Paul, or are you going to go in a different direction with Caden?
Well, right now the hardest thing is when you come home and he asks you why you didn't win. That's the tough question you get these days. You know, fortunately we had a little bit of success here with some wins early on in the season, and he really liked that. And now it's been quite a while since we've been to Victory Lane, and you kind of get that question every weekend when you get home. So that's always a challenge to find the right way to answer that. But he definitely likes the race cars, and something, you know, obviously that I've been in racing, you know, since I was a kid and started in go-karts. And I'm sure if he shows the interest in that, that'll be something fun that we can do as a family. And I know that was great for me growing up, being able to spend time with my dad. So a lot of fun things there. And, you know, like I said, we just want to keep focusing, like I said, taking this one race at a time, and hopefully we can get to where we want to be, and that's ultimately racing for that championship at Homestead.
Wrapping up with Paul Wolfe, crew chief that I work with on a daily basis every weekend. We have to ask.
Oh, that poor guy.
The fans want to know, Paul. Paul, when are you going to get on Twitter?
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I've gotten that question a few times, but I don't know. I try to stay far away from that. I think our driver handles that for me, and he does enough of that where I can just stay away.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and you probably hear plenty of Joey in your ear every Sunday anyway, and don't need any more of that right now, right? Fantastic.
That's a good balance. We've got a great group of guys, and you know, a lot of us have been together since the beginning here at Penske in 2010, and I think that shows a lot about you know, our group and how we kind of balance each other out. You know, you take everyone's strengths and weaknesses and help each other where we can, and you know, when we're all at our best, we're really hard to beat. So it's definitely something I'm proud of, and we just got to keep working hard here at Team Penske, and you know, we'll get to where we need to be.
There you go. Continuity is certainly important in any sport, and especially in racing. I don't think that gets enough credit. Paul, congratulations on the strong round one, and thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing you at Charlotte. Good luck there.
All right, guys. Thank you.
There you go. That's Paul Wolfe, the crew chief for Brad Keselowski and the Miller Lite Ford at Team Penske. And as he says, you just make it through round one. And a lot of guys are of that mindset. Before, it used to be, oh, no, we need the win. And now guys have more of that survive and advance mentality early in the playoffs.
You can't win the championship, but you can lose it.
Yeah.
And 4 drivers figured out that mistakes and a lack of performance to be able to just run in the middle of the pack cost them a chance to go to Homestead. Fortunately, the top 12 drivers have moved on, and we're going to see this next round is really critical. Charlotte, Talladega, Kansas, a couple of mile and a halves wrapped around the Talladega.
Where you guys have been very good.
We have. Fortunately, you know, from our standpoint, and you look at racetracks, we've won at Charlotte, we've won at Talladega, we've won at Kansas, we've won at Martinsville. That's a really good strength. Unfortunately, so have a lot of other guys that are in this playoff hunt. But one thing I wanted to point out, Paul talked about the balance of strengths and weaknesses. I'm just the guy that they use my weaknesses to balance out their strengths. That's how that works.
All right, we're going to mark this and save it and send it to Paul later on. All right, we've got more to come on MRN Motorsports Monday. We got to talk a little Xfinity Series racing, and we'll look ahead more at Charlotte Motor Speedway coming up this weekend. Stay with us.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse.
At Victory Junction, it's simple. We believe every child, no matter their diagnosis or disability, deserves the chance to just be a kid. So we provide a medically safe environment where children who live in a world of hospital stays and doctor's visits are free to do everything from riding horses, ziplining, swimming, fishing, and bowling, all at no cost to the camper. The experience inspires confidence, builds self-esteem, and changes the life of every child who comes here. Help us change a child's life at victoryjunction.org.
One to go, and Ryan Blaney leads into the first corner.
An old-fashioned woodshed whipping administered this afternoon on the Monster Mile at Dover. Ryan Blaney all by himself hits turn 3 for the final time.
Here's Blaney. He'll dive it down to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slide up about a lane with lap traffic right on his horizon. Here's Ryan Blaney. He'll rock it up onto the front straightaway and to the checkered flag. Ryan Blaney has won the Drive Sober 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at the Monster Mile.
Solid effort all day long. What was the difference from second that you needed to be first?
I think the biggest difference was just the short run speed. You know, we lacked a little bit today on the short run with our Textron off-road Chevy, but all in all, these guys did a great job, great pit stops. You know, that's the kind of stuff that you need, and with these playoffs being as tight as they are in the points, that was a good solid finish for us. So huge thanks to everybody on this number 7 team, especially everybody back at Junior Motorsports. We got a lot of our friends here from Northeastern Supply this week too, so thanks to those guys for being here. I was trying to put them all in victory lane. We just needed a little bit more, so hopefully we can go to Charlotte next week and do that.
There you go. You heard Steve Post, Dave Moody, and Mike Bagley on the call for the Xfinity race at Dover, and then Alex Hayden talking with Justin Allgaier after the race, the runner-up finisher, but he's on top of the standings because Ryan Blaney won, but of course he's running for points on the Cup side.
A Junior Motorsports stranglehold at the top of the pack with Allgaier, William Byron, Elliott Sadler with a lot of playoff bonus points. Ryan Blaney able to run these races this year. Next year making a change where no Cup drivers at all in the playoffs.
Right.
But he's able to run because he has less than 5 years based on the rules. Ryan Blaney, a dominating performance with the Fitzgerald Ford.
Yeah, he really had an excellent show. And Justin Allgaier has broken out here when it looked like William Byron was going to run away with it because he had piled up the most wins. But lately, his teammate, Justin Allgaier, has been hot here coming through the playoff ranks, and he wins at Chicago, the last race before the playoffs start. They have had 2 races now, and Charlotte will be their elimination race, so to speak, before they go to round 2.
Yeah, well, Justin Allgaier was second, and who was third? William Byron,
William
right there
Byron,
on his bed,
yeah.
pushing him across the start-finish line. And Elliott Sadler got wrapped up a little bit earlier, but he still finished the top 10. Again, a stranglehold. Cole Custer, thought we were going to see him. He's going to be the Ben Rhodes. He's going to be the Chase Elliott.
He's been very quick for about a month now.
If he can hang on and just keep learning, he's done an amazing job of progressing in 2017 under the tutelage of Eddie DeHunt, ironically spotting for Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
They're going to get this first win before 2017.
I think you're right as well. And before long, we talked about Goodyear earlier. Before long, Goodyear, I think it's either this week or next week, has a tire test coming up at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval that they're going to run next year, and that'll be really interesting.
Interesting is the key word.
Yeah, interesting. That's about as far as you'll go.
Interesting is the key word.
Yeah, you've seen some maps and some pictures of stuff out there of the way that's going to look, but that'll be next year when they do that out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This weekend, we've got the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. On Sunday, what can we look for at Charlotte?
I'm actually going to do the double with Sam Hornish. He's going to be in the 12 car, so we're running 2 cars at Team Penske. But like we heard Paul Wolfe talk about, that PJ1 will be the variable, the wild card. When these teams show up, we really don't know how wide Charlotte Motor Speedway is going to be.
Absolutely. We'll find all that out, and interesting that they are going to go with the PJ1 at Charlotte this weekend. We'll keep an eye out for that as well.
The juice.
The juice, whatever it is, the sticky goop, it's going to be at Charlotte. Don't forget, folks, we've got NASCAR Live for you every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. We will be right back here next Monday for another edition of MRN Motorsports Monday. I want to say thanks to Daryl and Jennifer behind the scenes for making us all look great, and we will see you right back here next week for another edition of MRN Motorsports Monday.
MRN Motorsports Monday is presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in every Monday for another exciting episode right here on MRN.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network.